Video games are built to give you tons of freedom. Sometimes you're going to use that to do good, and sometimes you're going to make choices that make everything go totally insane. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanks, 10 video game choices that cause complete chaos. Starting off with number 10, it's Dishonored and the High Chaos ending. Now, in Dishonored, most choices are literally between chaos and order, and if you carefully avoid getting caught, take out your enemies non-lethally, and spare your targets, which usually involves setting them up for a fate worse than death, but let's not get off topic here. If you do that stuff though, you'll get a low chaos rating, which makes the game easier in general, at least if you're playing the game stealthily. There are fewer guards, fewer flesh-devouring swarms of rats, and in general the atmosphere is a little bit brighter and sunnier. For players that go the other way and approach missions with murderous intent, you'll see the in-game meter creep up to high chaos. If you've got that, then the final mission gets, well, a lot more chaotic. Called The Light at the End, the last mission of Dishonored takes place on King Sparrow Island, where the three leaders of the Loyalist conspiracy are holed up. These guys all used to be your allies before betraying you, but if the game reaches high chaos, they've also betrayed each other.
Stupid blue blood. Let's see how you like this.
Martin, you couldn't hit me if I was standing next to you.
Each leader has their own section of the fort and the lighthouse, and they got their own personal guards shooting each other, and there's a storm raging outside. They're just as liable to kill one another as you, so the mission really lets you use the chaos to your advantage. That doesn't mean it's not difficult. The high chaos version of this mission is one of the hardest in the game if you're still trying to be stealthy. Guards are just everywhere and they're all in high alert. Most people consider the high chaos version of this mission the definitive one. It's just more exciting and atmospheric, with a more interesting twist that has the three targets you're hunting already trying to kill each other. It's a dark and chaotic ending that feels right for the miserable world this game takes place in. And again, it's literally called the high chaos. Like, of course we're going to talk about that on this list. At number 9 is Fallout New Vegas' Chaos in Zion. Look, Chaos is literally in this quest's name, so yeah, we would be remiss to not include it. And it's actually kind of less a traditional quest and more of a fail state. You get this quest at any point in the Honest Hearts expansion if you do anything to anger or kill friendly tribals. It doesn't take a lot to make these guys mad, it just steals something from them or kill that guy at the start before you realize he's actually friendly, and then you get slapped with Chaos in Zion. When you see it, all friendly NPCs turn hostile and all outstanding quests in the region instantly fail. There's nothing left to be done here, everyone just hates you and wants to kill you, so all you can do is leave. Or kill them all, I guess. But either way, it's kind of anticlimactic, and all it takes is kind of a small mistake in judgment. There's no big central choice that triggers the quest, and there are potentially dozens of ways to set it off, but it's a chaotic mess when it happens, especially if you're in the middle of the White Leg settlement and suddenly they're all trying to bash your skull in. They're not going to be all that successful because they're just a bunch of tribals and you're probably a walking death machine by the time you're doing the DLCs, but it's pretty funny to see these guys at least try to take you down, even if it's not going to happen. Fallout New Vegas is a game packed with these sorts of fail states where everybody wants to kill you, and this can potentially happen with any major faction of the game, but the White Legs are especially touchy. Like, they do not want you to touch their stuff. And number 8 is the Walking Dead Telltale series, choosing not to talk. Now, one legitimate innovation I could say about the Telltale games is how the games give you the option of not just not saying anything sometimes, but just not saying anything. More often than not, it's meant to be a failure to select a response in time, but sometimes just saying nothing is actually a legitimate option depending on the situation. Like in an argument between two characters, the game lets you say something if you want, but sometimes it's better to stay out of it. Like, most people playing these games might take the silent option every once in a while, but if that's all you ever pick, there is going to be problems.
Everyone was happy to have me distributing the food when there was enough to go around, but now that it's running out, suddenly I'm a goddamn Nazi.
You've got nothing to say about that, Lee?
You're basically the leader in the first Walking Dead game, so going through the entire thing as a mute leads to some pretty questionable outcomes, and the story just straight up stops making sense at certain points. Characters accuse you of doing things you didn't actually do. Everybody hates you. Nobody seems to know why. And every time they talk to you, they just get more and more frustrated and angry. It becomes pure cringe comedy at a certain point. Like just non-stop awkward silence while people attempt to stutter through a conversation with a guy who just refuses to say anything. At a certain point, it stops making any kind of sense. Like the logic of the story just completely gets broken because you choose not to talk. It throws the game into complete chaos. It'd be infuriating if it were not hilarious. And number 7 is Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Siding with Songbird. The main plot of Phantom Liberty revolves around a hacker named Songbird. She's being held by the mercenaries and control the district of Dogtown, and it's your job to get her out. What starts off as a fairly straightforward story becomes murkier and more complicated as things go along. Songbird's capture in Dogtown is actually part of an elaborate escape attempt, and by the end you're given a choice: either assist Songbird with her plans to escape from her government handlers, or force her back into the fold. Either choice dramatically changes the final few missions of the expansion. They're both completely different depending on what you choose here. If you want to make choices that actually have consequences, this expansion provides them. If you grab her, the final mission involves fighting off a police convoy and a terrifying section where you're sneaking through an underground bunker while you're being hunted by a killer AI. Siding with Songbird leads to a more chaotic mission, in my opinion. Now you're both on the run, and the only way out is to escape on a shuttle set up by a mysterious benefactor, which means sneaking through one of the most heavily guarded places in the entire city, the spaceport. Things pretty quickly devolve into total chaos as tactical squads invade the concourse, killing civilians and security alike as they hunt you down. They are relentless. And eventually you're pinned down, and the only option to escape is using the black wall against these guys. The whole mission is so epic and exciting that it's crazy that there's just one possible conclusion to the story. Somehow, CD Projekt Red was like, yeah, give them the choice to do something other than this too. And number 6 is Detroit Become Human, Machine Connor and the Violent Revolution. There are a lot of choices you can make in Quantic Dream's heavy-handed sci-fi fable, and impressively, a lot of them actually do matter. One of the central decisions that affects how everything plays out is how the revolution is going to go. Will the machine movement be pacifist, or will they fight? If you choose the pacifist option, it's a bunch of marching and speeches and all that hippy-dippy crap. Who cares about that? This is a list about chaos, right? And there's nothing more chaotic than a full-blown violent revolution. Like, if the uprising goes smoothly, that's just not that chaotic, you know? Even though there's a lot more shooting and killing going on, there needs to be something else to really make the final outcome unpredictable. And to do that, you want to go the Machine Connor route. It's nothing if not dramatic, pitting two playable characters against each other. If you suppress Connor's deviant instincts and always choose the most robotic dialogue options at the end, he won't join Marcus and instead will be sent to kill him. Do these two things and the city of Detroit will fall into total chaos. And for me, it's actually one of the most engaging possible outcomes of the story. It is not a happy ending though. It's far from it, but it's crazy interesting. Well, like, what sounds more exciting to you? Machines and self-righteous speeches, or friends and former allies blowing each other away with machine guns? I know what I'm picking. It's the chaotic option. And number 5 is Grand Theft Auto entering Fort Zancudo. Bit of a stretch, but here's my justification. You do have to choose to enter the military base in GTA 5. It's never a place you have to go willingly, and the second you step in, wow, does everything go nuts. Fort Zancudo is on the northwestern portion of the map, and you really can't miss it. It's a big base, and even in close, gets you a 2-star wanted level. Actually go inside the fort and the wanted level immediately jumps to 4 stars, and everyone in the base immediately beelines in your direction and tries to kill you. There's just no way around it. You try to drive up in a tank, they'll see through your disguise immediately. This place is a no-fly zone too, so get too close in a plane and you will get shot out of the sky.
You are in restricted airspace. Divert your course or you will be shot down.
Do not come here unprepared because you will be dead in no time. However, if you are prepared, this could be a really entertaining place to spend some time in. Like, you know, you're pretty much guaranteed to die, but until that happens, it's gonna be chaotic fun. And number 4, it's Devil May Cry 4's legendary Dark Knight mode. In most of these games, the choice of difficulty is pretty straightforward. They're just easiest to hardest. But DMC4 threw in a curveball with its legendary Dark Knight mode. Like, it's not just challenging, it's a lot more chaotic. This difficulty option does one thing. It makes it so you fight way more enemies. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 more encounters here and there. I'm talking like 10 times more at times. Like, sometimes actually worse. It completely transforms the game into the most mechanically complex Dynasty Warriors game of all time. And having all those enemies on screen at once turns an already challenging game into just total insanity. Like, look at this. This is a mess. I can barely even see what's going on here, and there's so many enemies that you can't miss, I guess at least. You're gonna hit something. Devil May Cry 5 brought this mode back, but the amount of enemies isn't as much as what they did with Devil May Cry 4. So that's the version of the game I'm going to stick with for this one. 3 new enemies isn't complete chaos, but some of the enemy groups you run into in DMC4 just get totally out of control. There's literally too many enemies on screen. Like, I can't see shit. And number 3 is Nier Automata, playthrough ending B. Sticking with Nier Automata past its first ending is really a choice. It's easy to stop at ending A and call it finished, but hey, that's also part of the game, isn't it? The game doesn't just want you to beat it once, it wants you to play through it multiple times if you want the complete experience. It's not the same game. Well, at least after ending B. Like, there are a few scenes and moments that make playthrough B feel unique, but mostly you're playing the same game over again. The entire second playthrough does add more context to the story, but it's not until the ending credits does the game hit you with its biggest, most chaotic curveball. The story keeps going. Ending B plays, and then it transitions immediately into the rest of the game, with the story continuing from where it left off. It's a hell of a risky way to tell a story, but the real chaos is just beginning. What starts as what is meant to be the final assault on machine life forms turns into a total mess when the androids start getting infected with a virus that makes them turn on each other. The whole thing is completely nuts. You're fighting robots, your allies, nobody really knows what's going on, and they really don't know why. And eventually the whole thing just falls apart. This is the turning point of the entire story, which is nuts because you have to finish the game twice to start this. But then you have to ask the question, like, are you really finishing the game or not? Like, Nier Automata is a weird one.
Why did you kill my brother?
Alert. Massive energy signature detected.
Moving on to number 2, Divinity Original Sin 2's releasing of the Death Fog in arcs. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that gives you a whole lot of choices, but it never goes full chaos mode like Larian's previous Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a game that doesn't give you a lot of huge choices. Like, they're mostly quest related, but there's one choice in the game that gets thrown at you, and it is absolutely epic in scale. It's near the end of the game. Now, one of the major plots in the city is to deal with this dwarven plot to bomb the city using a magic substance called Death Fog, which is as bad as it sounds. Anything that so much touches it just dies. And clearing it out is very difficult. Only a few powerful spells can do anything about it at all. So of course your mission is to stop this plot from happening. That's the sensible thing to do, but what if you want to embrace chaos? Well, then you release the Death Fog in the city anyway and just see what happens. It's mostly not good. Literally everybody in the city dies other than a few demons. The whole place is dotted with clouds of instant death fog, and most of your quests immediately fail. I mean, you did just kill all your quest givers, so what did you expect to happen? It's still technically possible to beat the game after this, but unless you already know what to do, it's otherwise basically impossible without some form of guide. There's just no direction left because you've killed everybody who could give it to you. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 lets you set off a magic nuke that kills everyone, but you don't actually have to live with the consequences of your decision in that game. While in Divinity, you're forced to spend the final hours of the game with this completely dead city, with only the instant death fog to keep you company. It's incredibly evil and honestly just kind of a pain in the ass to do, but it is chaotic as hell. And finally, at number 1, Skyrim, killing a chicken. For those seeking to break all bonds of fellowship and see the age of men come crashing down, there really is no other choice at all. If you see a chicken in the town in Skyrim, kill it and watch as every NPC comes crashing down on you, sword in hand, ready to chop you into pieces for this unfathomable crime. It barely gets you any bounty, but for some reason, killing a chicken really makes villagers upset in Skyrim. So much so that they're more than willing to give up their lives to seek justice for the poultry. Now, in Legend of Zelda, attacking a chicken does result in some form of revenge happening on you, but it's from the chickens. In Skyrim, if you kill a chicken, you will know the wrath of the villagers. What is left to say? Sorry, I had to slaughter that entire village. I killed a chicken and they attacked me, and I'm the Dragonborn. What do you think is gonna happen? Like, they're villagers. They might as well be the chicken. I fight dragons. And I don't mean like I fight dragons. I mean I win fights against dragons. But that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.